Hey guys, so for this video, I want to talk about what went wrong with Fortnite Chapter 2. If you're confused by what that's supposed to mean, yes, I personally think this season was a bit of a letdown. Obviously, not all of you are going to think that way, and many of you believe I'm just another whiny YouTuber. Before you go and comment that, at least stick around to hear my reasonings and why I believe my opinion is a popular sentiment in the community. Before we get into that though, I have to give credit where credit is due. Epic did an absolutely fantastic job with the introduction of Chapter 2. Following a full 3 days of staring at a black hole, we got an entirely new map, new graphics, a new loot pool, and even new setting options like confirm edit on release. All of these things were ideas I mentioned in my video on the top things Season 11 needs to have, and Epic went above and beyond my expectations. So bravo to Epic for all that they did to save the game and make it feel new again. The thing is, outside of what I just mentioned, they really did not do anything else. With each weekly update, there were no changes or content additions at all. In fact, there weren't even patch notes for most of the secret updates they put out. This meant we had no way to know what, if anything, had changed. Regardless, nothing ever did. I believe the only things we got were the harpoon gun, which was awesome, and then the heavy AR, which was only put in the game 2 weeks ago. Now, when you consider how long this season has been, 2 semi-decent content updates is just not enough. And this brings up my first point in where I think Chapter 2 went wrong. Straight up, the whole season was absurdly boring. Chapter 2 started on October 15th of 2019. At the time I'm recording this video, it's January 28th, 2020, and the season is still not over. Epic actually just announced that they're extending it even longer than we originally thought, and it will officially end on February 20th. According to my nerdy advanced math calculations, that means this season will last a total of 18 weeks. Yes, 18. Normal seasons without any overtime events are 10, and then those that do get extended are still only 11 or 12. Chapter 2 alone will almost be 2 seasons long, and all we have to show for it are a couple of new weapons. That's why I gotta ask, what have the developers been doing for this long? The Star Wars event was easily the worst live event we've had, so there's no way that took up all of their time. On top of that, it's not like they've been fixing bugs either. The annoying inventory glitch where you can't walk after you tab out has still not been fixed. The heavy assault rifle is still in arena and cash cups when it's not supposed to be, and you can't even aim down sight while playing in creative. So honestly, what have they been doing? The real answer is probably that they've been on break and gearing up for the next season. Trust me, I get that, and I think that's fine. Epic devs notoriously work a ton and do deserve some rest. But if you want to keep your player base happy, you can't leave us in the dark with so little to do for so long. Top tier content creators and streamers don't have anything to make videos on, people aren't as interested to watch Fortnite videos or streams, and the only thing that get any sort of views are fashion shows. We've really become so bored with the game that we load into creative and have people judge our in-game outfits. If that's not a sign that the game is dry, then I really don't know what is.
But Jerian, weren't you complaining about when Epic was adding too much content and new features in Season X?
Yes, I did, and I still do stand by that. The big difference between then and now though was that in Season X, Epic added everything new to competitive. The mechs, the junk rifts, the bad POIs, all that stuff was in tournaments and arena. I would have no problems if all the new stuff was only in public matches for people to have fun with. That's what my hope for Chapter 2 was, and what Epic actually seemed to do with the heavy assault rifle. They only added it to public matches through side grading. They did not just throw it straight into competitive and ruin the game like they did in the past. So I don't really think it's fair to say I'm being hypocritical since I want new content. I've always welcomed and been a fan of fresh new additions to the game as long as they were healthy and introduced the right way. Plus, I actually do like the competitive meta as it is today. The loot pool outside of snipers is balanced, and there's really nothing too broken or overpowered. Sure, there could be some mobility to help get across the map, but even without it, I'm happy. All I want is some new content for public matches and things to actually do in-game. Imagine if Epic added health and shield per kill back. I swear I would literally play the game for for 8 hours a day. No joke. Instead, they're holding on to it and are basically waiting to use it when a competitor like Apex Legends rises up. Anyways, what I want competitive-wise would be more events than just Cash Cup, as well as an announcement for 2020. How does Epic expect pros to practice and grind the game when there's nothing to look forward to? These are the guys who play your game every single day, regardless of the state that it's in, yet for the past month or so, they have not, which, by the way, hurts viewership and in turn hurts the player base. All in all, pubs are a snooze fest, competitive is irrelevant outside of cash cups, and here we are stuck twiddling our thumbs for another month. Moving on, another big issue with Chapter 2 is forced crossplay. If you don't know what crossplay is, it refers to people on one platform such as console, aka PS4 and Xbox One, playing with people on another platform like PC. Crossplay has always been a thing in competitive Fortnite because there's usually only been one prize pool. I know there are now platform-specific cash cups, but my point in bringing up competitive crossplay is that it's not an issue. If Epic only has the resources to host one big tournament across all platforms, then you should know what you're getting into by playing in them. Anyone trying to win a lot of money on the game and be the best needs to be on PC. I get that, and you guys should as well. The problem though is that forced crossplay is now a thing in public matches, not just arena and cash cups, but also regular solo, duo, and squad matches. That means some poor little kid playing on 60 FPS and 60 Hz with controller can be put up against my 240 FPS, 240 Hz, 1 millisecond input delay with keyboard and mouse. Now, I do acknowledge that not everyone on PC has as good of a setup as I do. However, the majority of people on PC have a better setup than the people on console do. Just think about it. If they didn't and they somehow got less than 60 FPS, wouldn't they just go back to console? Now, the argument that I've heard for forced crossplay is that 1, you can turn it off, and 2, that because of skill-based matchmaking, it's fair. Well, to counter the first point, I've turned it off while playing on console myself, and the wait time is absurd. You should not have to wait 5+ minutes just to get into a game with people on the same platform as yourself. Then, regarding skill-based matchmaking, yes, that's fair in theory, but not so much in practice. Main reason being is that it's extremely hard to determine someone's skill in-game. Let's say Fortnite uses your stats as a big determinant for who you get put up against. Right off the bat, lobbies will not be balanced. Just because someone has a higher KD ratio or more wins does not mean they're more skilled. On top of that, even if Epic is basing it off recent matches or some combination of that and overall stats, it still won't ever be fair as long as crossplay is involved. You simply cannot quantify the advantage that PC players have over console, mobile, and Switch players. I've gone back to console myself, and it was like playing a completely new and worse game. All my inputs were delayed, everything was choppy, and I could barely get a kill. Part of that probably is because I'm a bot, but my point still stands. Forced crossplay is not fair and is not fun for anyone involved. The final thing I wanted to talk about is the future and what Epic has planned for 2020. Nothing too big has been announced yet, except for the Chaos Engine update. If you haven't heard of that or know what it is, Epic is essentially changing the physics of the game when they drop Season 2 in February. They're going from the Unreal Engine the game is currently on to the Chaos Engine that they've recently unveiled. From this trailer, you can see it's all about the destruction of buildings and structures. Maybe things like houses and environmental objects like trees will partially break or collapse differently than they do now. Or maybe walls and in-game builds will break differently and the whole meta will change. That was my crazy theory that I talked about on Twitter. Follow me there at itsJerian, and it got a ton of mixed reviews. Some people were excited that maybe box fighting would be gone, while other people said they would quit if anything like that happened. Just realize though, what I said was complete speculation and me just trying to stir the pot and see what people thought. The most likely effect of the new engine will be that the graphics will look a little different and that everyone's game will run smoother since they are going to try to optimize it. Nobody is really too sure, but I do think it's going to be a fun and interesting shift. As long as they don't change the core game mode up too much, which they said they won't, I think it will definitely be fun and positive. I just pray and really hope it's going to be more fun and interesting than the nothingness we saw this season. Overall, guys, those are what I believe to be the main issues with Fortnite Chapter 2. The game is insanely boring because there's been no new content after 15 plus weeks. Competitive is boring because there's been no announcement for 2020, and public matches are not fair for console, Switch, or mobile players because of forced crossplay. So if you guys agree with me or you just enjoyed the video, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on my notifications. Shout out to everyone using code JERIAN. I really appreciate you guys still logging on to the game and putting in my code. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.